Can you raise your hand if you were on the jury for this? These 3 people. Okay. And then someone up here there who's not raising his hand.
Yes.
It's very, very small.
And there are some there, no?
Yeah?
Here? No, this is not.
Other folks. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. I just want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for this great honor. And I know, and I deliver from Sophie, my translator, also a message of thanks. Sophie was really honored by this. It is hard often for a writer to know if his or her translation is any good. You know, there are book reviews and there are other ways, but I don't speak German, as you will find out tonight. And so I can't tell if my book is good until somebody reads it in German and says that it is. So it meant a lot to me. It also meant a lot to Sophie because it meant that the work that we did together on this book, and we did a lot of work on Margaret Spuren, especially Spuren. I can't make my mouth do the right thing. It meant a lot to us because we spent quite a lot of time talking about the symbolism in the book and the metaphor and how to translate that best for a German reading audience. So thank you very much, and the award really meant a lot to me, and I was very sad that I couldn't come in June, and so glad to be here now. I don't know how many of you actually live here in Vienna, but wow, it's really nice. I wish I lived here. It's not even comparable to Indiana. I spent, it's like a different place. I spent almost all of today in the catacombs underneath St. Stephen's Church, where they have 11,000 dead people. But also the stuff that is above ground is nice. I went to the museum. I know that's not adequately specific. What's the name of the museum?
Natural History.
No, the one with the Michelangelo.
Albertina.
The Albertina Museum. So the Albertina Museum had a Michelangelo show and a Picasso show, which would excite most people, but it also had a William Kentridge show, and he is my favorite artist in the world. So I was really, really excited, and I actually got my camcorder taken by, you'll find this all out in the video I'm making, but I was trying to film some of the William Kentridge show.
You're not allowed to do that.
I know I'm not allowed to do that. That's why I was doing it very subtly. And a security guard came up to me and took my camcorder away, and I have 40 minutes of footage that's just like this. So I don't know what he did with it, but then he gave it back to me after I left. But the William Kentridge show was great. But I've had a wonderful time here, and thank you for having me. I also want to again thank my German publisher Hanser, represented today by Julia. They've been amazing and have brought me here. And then tomorrow I get to go to Munich to accept the Corina. Is she making fun of me? And I'm very excited for that. Can I borrow your book? Oh, that wasn't yours. Can I borrow? That one works great. No, that's in English. That's useless. Oh yeah. Okay, so I love this edition of the book. This is Looking for Alaska, or Eine the Alaska. And I love this edition of it because it translates my weird words at the bottom. Oh no, this is a different edition, sorry. There is an edition though that's taught in schools and English classes in Germany, and it translates all of the weird things that I say into German at the bottom. I'm going to read to you from this story that I wrote. Oh. No. No, that's also in German. I'm going to read to you though in German. That's okay. Ein Woche bever ich Florida verliehen, den Rest meiner Jugend in einem Internat.
Boarding school.
Boarding school. I'll stop. I read that to you to give you a sense of how bad my language skills are in German, and to make a broader argument about reading, which is that even though I wrote this book, I wrote it a while ago, but I did write it, and I remember all of the words in it, and Margaret is an even better example because I wrote that quite recently, and I really remember all of the words in this, and I remember everything that happened. But when I read it to you, you don't know what I'm saying because my German is so bad, and I don't know what I'm saying because I don't speak German. So I can't turn this story into something that is alive in my head because I don't have the skill to translate this particular kind of code, right? So if the code is in English, then I can translate it. But if the code is in German or really any language other than English and maybe a little bit of French, I can't translate it, and I will never know what it says, and it will never have a life for me outside of the text. That's very different from like a movie. I don't know if you've seen, I just watched this very funny, I don't know if it was meant to be funny, but it was a very funny Dutch horror movie called Sinterklaas or Sinter or something, and it's about Sinterklaas, but he is a murderer and he stabs people, and anyway, it's supposed to be very scary. I did not find it very scary, perhaps because I don't know, it wasn't scary. But I knew most of what to feel from watching that movie because of the images. I don't speak any Dutch. It wasn't translated, but it didn't need to be because I knew what was happening from being able to visually see the characters and having all sorts of other clues like the music, like whenever something bad was about to happen, it would be like dum dum dum, and then someone would pop up out of a window and everyone in the theater would be like ah! Except for me because I'd heard the dum dum dum, so I knew what was going to happen. And this is very different from a book because I have no idea what to feel if I look at a book in German or in Chinese or in any language other than English. Because when you read a book, it's very different, I think, from any other kind of media experience, because when you read a book, you have to make it as a reader. You have to make it real. You have to make it exist. And I can't do that with this, even though I wrote it. You did, and I thank you very much for that. I will read a little bit in English from Paper Town, but the last thing that I want to say before that is that I believe that the fact that we have to make these stories real because they're just scratches on a page until we bring them to life is what makes reading special. It's what allows us to feel like we're inside the mind of the people in the story. It makes us feel like we know what it's like to be them, in a way that we don't imagine ourselves in the position of different characters as much when we watch movies. So when I read a book like Catcher in the Rye, I feel what it's like to be Holden Caulfield in a way with a depth, with a clarity that I don't feel like what it's like to be, even in movies I love. Because when I'm watching movies I love, I'm watching something. And when I'm reading a book, I'm making something. I'm making something with the author of that book. It's like a weird collaboration through space and time. And so even though this is my first time in Vienna, I felt very welcome knowing that my book had been here first, and that the story that I made with each reader here existed already. So I came here and I felt like, okay, I don't know this city, but they kind of know me, and I'm sure they will be nice. And it has been wonderful. It's been really an amazing trip. So I'll read a little bit from Paper Town. I was strolling down near the St. Stephen's Church today, and I saw some chocolate Santas. And it reminded